Thank you for joining us today on LifeLine 911. This is part one of a two-part interview with Coitt Kessler of DroneSense, a product of Versaterm. Imagine a 911 call for a structural collapse. It's too dangerous for a human to enter, and every second counts. In the past, we waited. Today, we send in the robots. Our guest today, Coitt Kessler, didn't just watch this future happen, he built it. From the streets of Austin to the national stage, he's the man leading the charge to put high-tech eyes in the sky and boots, or treads, on the ground. This is Lifeline. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lifeline 911 with your host, Erica.
Hello.
I'm your co-host,
Hey,
Gary,
Erica.
and today we are joined by a special guest, Coitt Kessler. Thank you for joining us. We very much appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Erica.
Yay.
So, you work with robots? I mean, what's going on here? Skynet? How does this work?
Uh, yeah, well, first I'll start with this because this is an important part of this. Is thank you for allowing me to be on the show and working with you guys. Two is I really appreciate the intro. I'm going to reel it back just real quick, and this is the reason why. Is one thing that I've learned while I was with the Austin Fire Department. I know we'll talk a little bit about this. Is that it's all about a team. And they used to say that nobody puts out a house fire by themselves, and nobody builds a robotics program or a robotics um, team by themselves. So I've had a lot of folks, and I hope to be able to provide some love and some shout outs to in this process that have helped us all get to that point that you just shared with running into buildings or moving into buildings that need help. So thank you guys for letting me be here. Thanks.
Outstanding.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. So, before I guess we get into your current work, prior to this, you actually were a fireman, right?
I was. I was. So I had almost 22 years with the Austin Fire Department. The last 10 years of that of my career, I spent as the program manager for what we call the Austin Fire Department's Robotic Emergency Deployment Team. Acronym is Red Team. So our Red Team is still up and running. I'm really proud of it. The ball's been passed over to the current program manager, Jason Burnside, and he's doing a fantastic job working with all of our other partners in the city and around the state and nation, I guess, for that matter. And the program was developed to use technology, as you had mentioned, with treads and drones, and so we ran air, ground, and water-based solutions for emergency response.
Awesome.
That just sounds cool. It does.
It is,
Okay. Water solutions. Rescues?
yeah, can be, can be. So think about think about the city of Austin, and we have Town Lake
Yeah.
as an example. We have somebody that decides to jump off the bridge, or we have somebody that maybe there's an airplane that lands in Town Lake.
I remember that.
We exactly, exactly. Um, we have as we're moving into the future, it's really great. Not only can we send our boat teams out and our rescue swimmers, and that is both Austin EMS and Austin Fire. We go out together as a unit and we get boats in the water and people on the water, but we can send drones out ahead of time to send, and it's really neat because we can send the drones downstream where somebody may be moving depending on the current while everybody is working on the top side. You want to take that a little bit further is if somebody, let's say the boats aren't able to be there at that time because they're doing something else, we have robotic boats that we can send out on the surface that carry a rope, and we're able to run around the person that's in trouble and then bring them back in to the bank. And if that doesn't work out, we have somebody that Unfortunately, we all know that things do happen and people end up under the water for too long of a period of time. We have robotics that can help us go back in and help find the victim, and then that brings closure to the family. So that's another really neat part of this whole solution.
So,
Wow.
were you, because a few years ago we did have a little Cessna plane that crashed into Town Lake.
Yeah, we sure
Were
did.
you, were you on that dive team or involved with that?
I wasn't. It's funny though. I was assigned the back end of my career. I was assigned to our special operations division, and I wasn't on that day, but I did have all my friends that responded out to that, and we did have drones overhead. We worked really closely with Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas DPS, Austin EMS, Austin PD, like all of our players here in the Central Texas area. So we had drones overhead, being able to see the entire operation. Now, did that make it back to dispatch? I don't think it did, and we can talk more about that here in this session. How important that is.
Well, before we kind of move on to the drones, I do also want to. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't also highlight that you are also a Medal of Valor recipient, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
So, really,
Yeah,
thank you very much for your service.
Agreed.
thank you.
Agreed.
Thanks.
All right, so you've got a plane sinking in the water, a building on fire, just a situation that you would rather not send a human being into if you don't have to.
Mhm.
So the idea here is we'll get a robot to go in and check it out, and apparently you can also now retrieve people if need be from some instances.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude.
Yeah, it's so we've had this is I don't know, it's really exciting. You think about and we're talking about dispatch. We're thinking about radios. When
Mhm.
I came into the fire service back in it was 2000, we had two radios that were issued to four firefighters that were going out the door. Two radios. All right. Four individuals. And yeah, you can do the math on that. Uh, we have changed in a really short period of time where everybody has a radio. You wouldn't think about going into a scene without a radio today. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not even a thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
um, and you could look back at our history and find little things like our air packs that wasn't a thing too long ago, or maybe our turnout gear that wasn't a
Mhm.
thing too long ago.
Yeah.
So I think as we're looking at a timeline and we're moving this whole thing forward, and you're looking at robotics being part of those tools, and robotics and technology being part of that kit that we just expect to show up on scene. It's coming super fast, and yeah, I think it's really neat. You look at a lot of the technology guys that came out of the military, and I think drones, but a lot of this technology that we're talking about right now actually came out of consumers and came out of being able to buy this equipment off of DJ or out of Best Buy or Amazon or wherever. And it's actually consumer products. And these companies have been able to go through a lot of evolutions to be able to create equipment that works really well in our workspace. And that is you know, what we're using to go into buildings to look for people. And we talk about collapses. That is definitely a place that we can send a drone in as an example,
Mhm.
but also being able to send a drone in beforehand if we have somebody that's having a mental issue, or we're having somebody that's having a problem with force, right? And so these drones, I'll just pick on drones as an example,
Mhm.
can get into attics. They can go into basements. We can fly into spaces that you wouldn't want to send a person around the corner first for.
Right.
So, um, kind of this really neat evolution where we're all starting to work closely together, and you're getting um, paramedics, firefighters, and law enforcement officers all kind of blending in together. So, if we've got a call for a barricaded suspect, a firefighter can come in and fly it while the law enforcement officers are going in. Vice versa, if the firefighters are working on a big fire and there's not enough of them, an officer or medic can put the drone up overhead. So we're seeing these little stupid pieces of plastic
Interesting.
really bring us all together.
Hmm. So When I hear the word drone, I'm thinking of the guy that, as you said, has gone down to Best Buy or Walmart or
Mhm.
something
Hmm.
and picked up the little remote control thing.
Yeah.
And is that kind of
Right.
basically where you're like, because they come in sizes of like 4 inches to like the larger ones. Is that the kind of
Yeah.
size you're working with most of the time?
It is. It is. Yeah. And you nailed the sound. You got it
Mhm.
Thank you,
exactly.
thank you.
Um, so it is. It's no different than our phones. We have our phone, so this is the hardware side of things,
Mhm.
but then we have the software that helps manage it, and the software that provides us those different capabilities that we've all come to depend on. So when you take a drone from Best Buy or wherever we're talking about,
Mhm.
and you pair it with software like DroneSense, is you're now able to get this best in class
Mhm.
um, tool, but it's hardware and software put together. It's not just one or the other. So our environment, as you guys know very well, you have to have equipment that is
Mhm.
hardened. You have to have equipment that works for us, but you also have to have the software that enables those capabilities that we all depend on in public safety.
Hmm. Absolutely. We in Austin we recently had the South by Southwest Film Festival, which pulls in a
Yeah,
lot of tourists and people every year. And one of the things that we had semi frequently was other people flying their drones where they ought not to have been flying them. Uh,
Yes.
huge problem.
and I guess with Drone Sense, which is I don't know if I said that before, but that's sort of the particular group that you're working with right now.
It is.
Um, is there? You said it's sort of a hardened software. So is there a way that the
Mhm.
software for Drone Sense could just be used with any sort of off the shelf drone, or are
Mm.
there specific types?
There are, well, I'll take that's a good question. So it's designed for, right, we have a really incredible group of engineers that are able to take the code for these specific drones that work for us. They rewrite the code and they provide that functionality and the capability that you know public safety needs. A realtor wouldn't need it, or somebody shooting a wedding venue wouldn't need.
Mhm.
It may be the exact same drone, but the capabilities, I'll provide a great example. If I could paint this picture of flooding in Texas, which we all
We just,
can see,
yeah.
we just went through a terrible one this summer, right?
Mhm.
Um, we have helicopters that are really good at picking people off of roofs, and we have boat teams that are really great at getting people out of yards.
Mhm.
Um, but it takes a lot of extra time when you're on that boat team or you're in that helicopter to be looking for people. So if we have a software that helps you with seeing a person, tagging that person with a marker, and getting that marker back to the aircraft or back to the boats, we're able to team together and work really fast as a unit. That's not software that a citizen would want to use. And
Mm-mm.
Gary, you're right. I mean, it's very problematic when we are have these large scale events, these music events, the South by ACL,
Mhm.
any of these large scale events, and we have people that are flying their drones in the airspace with us, and they're not communicating, and that does become a huge problem for all of us. You nailed it.
I was thinking, did you actually said what I was thinking when you mentioned the floods. In my mind, I'm imagining, there's this person. You don't have streets anymore because everything's underwater. So you
Everything is
can't
water.
you can't give the cross street like we're so
That's
accustomed to
right.
in addresses. Give me an address, all that,
That's right.
or in a pinch, give me a cross street. Worst case, I will
Yeah,
take a
that's right.
landmark, but that's not there because half of the sign that used to be the landmark is washed away, and now we've got boat crews and helicopters trying to figure
Yeah.
out where people are. And I can imagine some guy on the boat whose job it is to remember the coordinates or where the person was last seen.
Tough.
And as stuff is washing
Yeah,
away, because water doesn't typically stand still unless it started that way, which, in
that's
those
right.
situations. So you answered the question in my head. I'm thinking, well, how would that work? So the drone would fly ahead and be like, oh, at coordinates
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z. this
Yeah,
at coordinates XYZ that, and it gets that
that's right.
information back to the people who need it. So now we don't need the guy whose notepad might actually fall into the water with the coordinate.
That's
I'm
right.
just really thinking very crudely, of course, but that's amazing. Can you imagine
It's
if drone
cool.
sense had been around during Katrina?
Yeah, I can. I can't imagine that and how important that would be. I saw it used our team spent 2 weeks out in Hurricane Helene,
Hmm.
um, Hurricane Harvey.
Yes.
I was a big part of that. I have seen how important that is, and it's really neat when you can. You mentioned something. I mean, you nailed it with the streets. All your landmarks are gone. Well, we now have augmented reality
Hmm.
that fits into this space. So as your drone is flying over and you see nothing but water in your screen, we actually have overlays of street names over
What
that
should
flood
be there?
because it's yeah, right. So we can see, hey, this is the street. So even if I'm from Austin, Texas, and I get deployed to Houston, Texas, I'm not familiar with I don't know where Fifth and Trinity is any longer,
Yeah.
but I show up from another city, I can actually see that those cross streets in my camera view, and then I can also see the boat team that's coming in and guide them in from above. And this is when we talk about teaming. There's all kinds of
Mhm.
teaming, and that's kind of the next step I think for in this whole evolution is working closer together with our crewed units.
That is just amazing to me because what I hear in this, and this is just my very lay brain, thinking about it, or maybe even as a dispatcher, really, because I'm thinking, what if we can see what fire sees, or what PD sees, or what
Yeah,
EMS sees, and no longer have this line where it's that's fire, that's PD, that's EMS. Now we have a public safety team working together
yeah,
to accomplish whatever the mission is, whether it be crowd safety, or, PD does what they do in order to make sure that the scene is safe so that the other guys can go in and get the victims, or administer medical care. Whatever that looks like, I can
yeah.
see that future meshing us together. We're no longer separated by disciplines. We are now quite literally a public safety unit.
Right. Yes, that's right. We're a public safety unit. Can I brag on my hometown here in Bastrop?
Yeah,
Brag a little bit.
okay.
All right.
Fine if you must.
I'm gonna brag. Yeah, I'm gonna brag on our dispatchers here.
Uh-oh.
So
Yes.
yeah. So uh, we have our emergency management center here is where our dispatchers are out of, and one of the initiatives we took on. I'm not sure where they're at currently with it, but what we were doing is through the software that the purpose built software we were just discussing, the drone sense. When the drone turns on, it sends a notification out. So that notification hits your phone or it hits your terminal with your email, right? So it lights up. You say, "Ding! I've got a message." Well, you can click on that message and you can see not only what the drone is seeing, but where the drone is looking, the
Oh
heading,
my
and
God.
you can see the visual feed from that drone. So let's say we have a missing a missing child that just walked out into the Colorado River out here. Unfortunately, this is something we've gone through,
Mhm.
and dispatchers are trying to coordinate this. Well, you guys do an amazing job. I can't even imagine your job with the radios and handsets and being able to communicate just off the verbal cues.
Mhm.
But now, if we take it a little bit further, and you're able to do that, as you mentioned, Erica, with the visual cues,
Mhm.
and now we can really because what happens is there's a soda straw effect for us out in the field. So when you're flying, you're looking through a camera lens and you're focused.
Mhm.
When we have somebody at a terminal and they can see the big picture, now they're seeing things that are going on that that person on the inside is not,
Yeah.
that's flying is not. So it really does become a team effort.
Yeah.
It's and this is where it's going. And I'd love to tell you guys about drone as a first responder if you want to
Oh,
know a little bit
absolutely.
about that.
Yes, yes. But I was just going to say really quick, that I was thinking of, the person who has to man the drone, the firefighter, officer, EMT, they're doing what
Hmm.
they do, but who's managing the whole scene, the bird's eye view, which is what
Yeah,
typically you have for your dispatcher. That's how we see the world. We don't even think
that's right.
about one call. We think about all the calls. We don't think about one first responder. We think about where are all of them, even if they don't belong to us,
That's right.
right? If I'm a PD dispatcher, I'm thinking, okay, well, last I heard you were talking to EMS and this new thing has happened. Now we're talking about this person with a gun. Where's the EMT that we were just talking to? Where are they? Because last I
Yeah,
checked, they don't have guns.
right. That's right.
So you're
That's right.
thinking about that bird's eye view, and I mean, I'm so jelly right now because I'm thinking about I need to be able to see everything. When all hell breaks loose, I want to be able to flip
It's
a switch,
nice.
click a button, and see what the Sam Hill is going on. Yes,
Yeah.
we're buying drones in
So
Gary. We're buying it. We're calling some people. That's just all there is to it. Yep.
so the after the Kerrville floods, the Texas DPS had an after action review, and in that AAR, one of the takeaways recommendations, and this is a strong recommendation, is that you use a system like the Team Awareness Kit or TAC, and it is a way for us and TAC and drone sense working together. It is a way for you in the EOC or the ICE incident command post or wherever you're at,
Hmm.
for you as that drone is above, for you to see all the dots on the map,
Yeah.
so you know where all your units are at,
Hmm.
not just with CAD dispatch, but with these phones in their pockets
Yeah.
and with them moving down the street. And that's
Yes.
so it's coming quick. And I couldn't be more proud of our company for trying to push this thing forward and and really make this available to our community.
Add that to the wish list. Okay. Done. Alexa, order that.
so,
If only, if only that easy. Go
so,
ahead, Gary. Sorry.
so do these drones have FLIR on them or uh, things like that? I'm assuming they come in different sizes. So if you're like, hey, I'm on a budget, I need just the small drone that has a camera, or if you're like, hey, I got
Yeah,
like search and rescue ops, I'm going to need the one with FLIR on it. Like you can kind of customize which
it
one you get.
does. They do. So I used to say when I'd have people come to the firehouse and we'd look at we'd look at the fire truck, I'd roll up all the doors and I'd say, look at how many tools are in here. No one tool does any one job, right? It takes 100 tools to do 1,000 jobs. So it's the same with the drone. It's same with the drones, and that's why our tool, like literally our toolboxes you have at home, have different tools in them. So
Mhm.
you have different flavors, Gary, that you mentioned. Like you can have a thermal camera on there, but a thermal camera is not going to see below the water, right? So if we're going over town lake, you're not going to see below the water because the heat doesn't. You're not able to see the heat below the water's edge because of reflection. Well, but if your camera has a spotlight on it and you're able to see down and you can see the colors of the victim in the water, now we got this really great tool. I just got back from New York and we were doing a large scale exercise with a train derailment in New York City, and so we had thermal cameras that were going out, and it was a hazmat scene that you could imagine, and then we had a lot of victims that were laid out. Well, the thermal cameras did a really good job, but we also needed to have the spotlight
Yeah.
to be able to make out what was being released, what the so it's a combination of a lot of different tools. So we have ways of dropping, to your question, you can drop life jackets out of them. And when that life jacket drops, you can see exactly where that life jacket lands. We do this. New York City actually does shark watch with their drones. So have a whole beach patrol and they are up in the air all summer long, and they are looking for sharks that are coming in because our climate's changing, right? And we're having sharks that are coming in closer. So they're watching as schools of fish that the sharks feed on, they're seeing that come in, and the lifeguards are able to adjust the people that are out swimming, and then as the sharks come in, we can see them.
Wow.
If a victim gets pulled out by a riptide, they can fly the drone over and drop a life jacket, or they can keep eyes on as the lifeguard's swimming out, or the robot is taking off for them. So there's a lot of really cool. There's a cool lot of really cool tech that's being plugged into to each of these drones.
That is, I would never in a million years would have thought about. riptides. And no, seriously, I
Yeah.
just would not, because, well, in my
Yeah.
little PSAP bubble inside inside of Austin, we don't have any beaches. So,
Right. That's right.
but we do have some good sized body of water, some of them,
We
and
do. We
bodies of
do.
water, and we have people that have
Yeah.
a tendency to go in them, and
We do. And they
yeah,
go downstream and you want to get to them quick.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So,
So, go ahead. No, 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 go, go, go. I need to formulate my question some more.
okay, all right. So are these drones that you guys sell, are they, I don't know, modular? So if you're like, hey, I need a drone that's got a FLIR on it, I can snap off the spotlight and snap on a FLIR, send that up. And then if you're like later on, oh, I actually need the life jacket, you can come back and you can take off the FLIR and put the life jacket on.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. They are. So if you think about growing up playing with Legos and
Oh my God,
needing to
that's awesome. Sorry.
put it all together, right? I mean, but it is. I mean, your head is thinking exactly right. Is what do I need to get that job done? Because again, 100 tools for 1,000
Yeah.
jobs.
Hmm.
So if I can add an attachment, if I can add a speaker to one of my drones, and I can fly my speaker out, and I can communicate with somebody that I'll throw this as an example. We had a victim not too long ago that was lost in the flood, and it was the sound of the drone that kept that person hanging on just a little bit longer. So we know if Starflight or any of our crewed aviation are out,
Hmm.
if you're hanging on to a tree and you think that everybody's given up on you, and you're starting to question
Hmm.
your ability to hang out there a little bit
Hmm.
longer. Well, if we can get a drone over the top of you or whatever sound it is, and then communicate with you, we're coming. You got people coming to you now.
Yeah,
We can give you that little extra strength.
yeah.
Or if you have somebody, maybe we have somebody who's having a
Hmm.
a mental episode where they're having a very hard time distinguishing reality. But we don't want to bring force down. So what we do is
Hmm.
we distract, and we can bring a speaker in from another direction, draw the attention, and now we're able to take care of that
Yes,
person without harming them. So there's a lot of really cool uses for this technology.
that is. I would that I'm so many things. We need another 45 minutes just for me. I have homework now. So when you come back, these are all the questions
Okay,
that I'm going to ask,
great.
because we're going to harass until you come back. That's just all there is to it.
That's great.
Yeah, because we haven't even gotten to the drones that are terrestrial. It's all it's all been the ones in the air so
Yeah, that's
far.
a
Oh
whole
yeah.
other lane. Yeah, being able to, yeah, and that's really what we're talking about is when I mentioned the word teaming,
Hmm.
is tying in the robotic dogs as an example. A lot of people have seen the robotic dogs. Well, the robotic dogs they're neat because they can open door handles where a drone can't open a door handle. But if I can open a door handle and the drone can fly in, now I can work together as a team. So we did this up in New York not too long ago on a subway exercise. So door opens up, drone flies in, dog goes in, goes to the next one, opens door, drone flies in. So you work as a team to be able to work together, and it's a great pairing. So teaming with robots and humans, and teaming with robots and robots.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess one question I would have um, is with the drones, do they have do they have like AI built into them? Like, can they understand?
I do.
Okay, because one of the things I guess I would be uh, concerned about somewhat is, you've got drones that are flying around. You've got facial
Mhm.
recognition technology, so you can
Oh yeah.
kind of
That's right.
just put somebody's picture in and say, "Hey, find this guy in the crowd," and then the drone can
Mhm.
very quickly search a whole crowd of people, which
Hmm.
is kind of a interesting concept if you're trying to find somebody who may have run off into a crowd.
The good news is that there's a tremendous amount of regulation that goes into that side of things with the facial piece, right? Where it becomes a real advantage, it's let's take we'll take a flood or a tornado or whatever, we'll say disaster, and we want our AI processors to find blue pants, white shoes. So as we're flying over a large area and we're trying to find the missing person,
Mhm.
not the face, right? Because there is a lot of regulation that prohibits that
Mhm.
from street cameras and um, but if I'm looking for if I'm covering miles worth of area and I'm looking through that soda straw again, I'm gonna let my technology help offset my brain, so I can focus on the flying and it can help me with distinguishing colors or shapes. Now we pull that together and we find people faster. We're able to really make change a lot quicker.
That's awesome. That's gonna,
That kind of makes
yeah, yeah.
sense.
That's
Yeah.
gonna definitely, I think, help save a lot of lives when you're looking for people. Because how many times,
Yeah.
Erica, do
It
we get
does.
calls where somebody's like, "I'm lost in the green belt," or I don't know where I am. My phone's about to die, or like,
And you guys,
yeah,
I have
y'all are amazing.
that story. Some lady came down from Dallas and she was in the Greenbelt off of Lake Austin, Mopac area. People are like, "Where's that?" We know where it is, and it's a
Yeah.
beast to get lost there. And I think she had like 1.5 bars, and she
Hmm.
didn't know, she couldn't find her way out, let alone which way she came in from. And I had to get
Yeah.
creative. Thank God for what 3 words, because that's what I had.
That's right. What through words is
And
great.
I'm like, use the little bit of juice you have, lady. Download this app and let's go to work. And
Good for you.
I mean, but that's what 911 operators do. That's what the first
Yeah.
responder does. Now I'm thinking,
Yeah.
even in a drone situation, she had no earthly idea. Can you imagine how long that would have taken? So that's where we have all of the tools that we have at our disposal. I wouldn't think to even ask for a drone in a situation like that unless I lost complete sight of her, and of course the towers would tell me kind of where, and if it really began
Yeah.
to be a dire situation, maybe. But we that was my nightmare, Gary. Thank you for bringing that back for me.
anytime. I like to traumatize you.
Sounds like you did a great job, though. Sounds like you did a great job, and you dispatchers are amazing at solving problems.
Well,
That is a true story. True story.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
thank you for joining us on part one of our conversation with Coitt Kessler of DroneSense, a product of Versaterm. We will continue the conversation next week.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about today's topic or topics you'd like to cover in the future, please reach out to us at lifeline911podcast@gmail.com. This has been a production of Lifeline 911, copyright 2026. Until next time, this is Lifeline 911 signing off.